saw what's on them.
Yo, it's your boy Fro, and today I'm going to be talking about the new 2023 film, VHS 85. Now, I got to admit, I've had a pretty rocky relationship with the VHS franchise. I remember liking one or two specific stories of the first VHS, specifically the succubus, flying, creepy, evil woman that takes out the entire team of those like college dudes. That was my favorite story in the first one. My favorite personal film out of this franchise is the second film, because I think for the most part I like all of the stories. I like the creepy cult one, the safe haven one, that's directed by Gareth Evans. That's my favorite probably story out of all of these films combined. Just personally, I do like the alien abductions segment. I like the zombie story with the GoPro camera on the bike and he's a zombie and we see it through his POV. And the eye one with the camera in the eye and he's seeing ghosts, Adam Wingard, that one is okay. That's probably my least favorite story in VHS 2, but I still think the second film is my favorite. Now, I know I'm going to get to 85. I just want to give you guys a perspective or just a look at what I feel towards the entire franchise. So number 3, Viral, was pretty forgettable for me. I remember not really caring about it as much. And then I believe the 4th installment was 94, which I didn't love every story, but I did like 2. And mainly the one I loved the most was the crazy Asian one where the chick is like this robot and this creepy scientist kind of guy is putting on these like killing machines, if you will, but it's done very gruesomely and it's fucked up. But that's my favorite story of 94. And then I did a review on VHS 99, the one before this one, and I was a bit underwhelmed. I didn't care for many of the stories. I think the only one I really enjoyed was the very last story. So I was pretty disappointed. I'm happy to say this film right here, 85, I enjoyed more than the previous installment. Total Copy is the wraparound. It's about this creepy kind of humanoid or intelligent creature that's imitating this little boy. We have a scientist team. They call it Rory. And Rory is imitating the scientist, the things around him after the scientist place like everyday life or TV and television around the humanoid or the creature. The creature takes an interest. And I personally like the ending of this wraparound story. I thought it was a very gory, explosive mess. But the very last shot of this movie is extremely bizarre and it's silly. It involves the humanoid creature. He wipes out the team of scientists and he's manipulating like a yoga show that he watched previously when he was in the form of the boy earlier on in the film. Now, my favorite one out of this film, it's a very creepy title, but God of Death. And I thought this one was handled very well. Very creepy, unsettling, a little bit goofy, but the goofy feeling that sometimes the short has, I think works. It's told in Spanish, so you do have to get your subtitle reading on, which I don't mind. I've always been a kid that grew up reading subtitles, just my own nerdy preference. And you can always catch background voices of other characters and you can miss a word or a line of dialogue or an interaction from a character very quick. And then you can go back and be like, oh, it's in the subtitle. That's what they said. It is very gory. It might be the goriest one out of all the segments, but surprisingly, each segment in this film is pretty damn gory. We've had other VHS films where the gore is kind of spaced out. And we're like, okay, this story is gorier than the other. But this film here, every segment has their very share of gore. And pretty heavy in some parts, which I enjoyed. And it's practical, which I always enjoy as well. The only time that I could think of CGI was in the Techno God one. But that wasn't involving the gore. That was involving the creepy creation or the creature that's involved in that story. We have Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, the team from Sinister, The Black Phone. They come back for a story here called Dream Kill. Now, I'm really mixed with this one. I did enjoy this story, being a fan of Sinister and Black Phone. I enjoy both films, and you can definitely see that trickle down in their short story in this one. But there's definitely creative choices in the script or the story where I'm like, this is really below these guys. In my opinion, I'm like, this overall plot is really silly and below these guys' creativity. There are cool things that I really enjoyed about this story, to be fair. We have Freddy Rodriguez playing the main detective here, and the main plot is there's some videotapes coming to the police station, and the lead detective, Freddy Rodriguez, he's like, hey, these are really creepy, but they're movies. It's like a prank. A week later, that murder in the videotape happens, and they're like, what the fuck? How is this going on? So I do like the start of it. I'm like, okay, that's pretty creepy. I'm interested. Now there's a character that's introduced, and he's like this gothic punk kind of kid. He's revealed to be the son of one of the cops on the case, played by James Ranson, who's a Scott Derrickson regular. He's in Sinister and Black Phone, and I like this guy as an actor. So Freddy Rodriguez, he's like, yo, how is this happening? He's questioning the kid, and then the kid is like, these are my dreams. These videotapes, I'm dreaming of them, and they're coming to life. And I'm kind of sitting there like, I don't know how to feel about this, to be honest, you know. The way the videotapes are filmed are through POV, so we're seeing the killer going through the house and massacring the target, whoever they're going after, and it's rather gory. It's definitely gorier and bloodier than a Sinister or Black Phone. I will give them that. I was surprised by that, and I did enjoy the gore aspect in this story, and I even enjoyed some of the POV shots and just the unnerving feeling. You can definitely again see the Sinister and Black Phone influence trickling down in this short story with the way the killings and the way they're acted out and the way the camera work is. I could definitely see that, and I did like that. But the thing I didn't like in this story was the dream aspect and the plot surrounding that, and how it's like, oh yeah, I'm dreaming them and they're coming to life. And just the way it was executed in the segment, I thought it was very, very silly. And just in my opinion, So I did like Dream Kill, this story Dream Kill, but I also was on the fence with the dream plot overall. Now moving on to No Wake, which also plays out as a double story. And there's spoilers in the title. There's going to be spoilers for anybody watching. Total Wake starts with a group of friends. They're on this lake. They're having a good time. And at first I'm like, okay, this is a little tiny bit slow start. And No Wake is the first story after we get introduced to the overall wraparound. But we have a couple friends on a lake. They're having fun. It's a little bit slow for me. And then out of nowhere, shots ring out and they start getting shot up by sniper rifle shells. I'm like, oh shit, what just pops up out of nowhere? We see one girl get her jaw blown off. Pretty gruesome detail. Very nice practical effect. Then they're all getting shot up. But in a little twist, they start coming back to life, if you will. They're like, huh, what's going on? Oh, I think the water on the lake that we're in might have some effect to why we're coming back to life. This is my biggest problem with the movie and my biggest plot hole, if you will. It's revealed that there's a cult of a family and they're acting out these murders. They're all in on it together. It's like a celebratorial kind of thing. There's this new young girl. She's turning of age, or she's like 15, 16 or whatever. And they're like, hey, you know, you're a part of the family. You have to get your first kill. She videotapes it, and it's later revealed that she was the one going after the people on the lake and No Wake in the earlier story. The cops show up to the cult family's house. They start mowing down the family. We're thinking they're dying. And they eventually reach the younger girl, and they shoot her up. And we're like, okay, they're done. They're done skis. They're out. Then she lifts up off the ground, and then she's fine. She's alive. Then the cops take her in, and I'm thinking right before the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, they're going to address this. They have to. I'm like, they're not going to leave this big plot, kind of like a plot device or subplot, if you will. They're not going to leave us hanging like that. bro, they leave us hanging. Like, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, or if I missed something, or if it's over my head. They don't address this at all. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Why are they suddenly coming back to life? What was the whole point of that, dragging that along through the film? Because this movie, there's stories and segments in it, but there's also the wraparound, and there's also random kind of archive footage from the 80s. I can't tell if it's made up or if it's actual commercials from the 80s, but they're spliced in through the film as well. So it can be very random at times. Just to bring that up for anybody viewing the film. I do like the total copy segment with the humanoid figure manipulating the team, and this team of scientists taking a liking to what this creature can do or what it's coming from. The way that the main scientist guy is going crazy over it, I did appreciate that. So I did enjoy total copy, which I'll probably give like, I'm going to say a 7.5 out of 10 or maybe an 8 out of 10. I'm going to grade these segments one by one. Dream Kill, the one with Scott Derrickson, I didn't love the dream aspect, but I did enjoy pretty much everything else about it, if that makes sense. I like the acting. I like the kind of mystery element with the main detective, Freddy Rodriguez, and his partner trying to figure out how these videotapes are coming in. I like the POV shots of the videotape murders. And the gore and the blood was a nice touch. It has an explosive ending to the story that's very fun. So I did really like Dream Kill, which I'll probably give another 7.5 out of 10. Now, when it comes to Techno God, I did not like the beginning because I thought the main character was very pandering, very annoying. Oh, your God is dead because of technology, and just the way the execution of the lines, and she was very irritating. So it was extremely satisfying to see her character get killed in a very gruesome fashion, like very brutal, through the VR goggles. Oh, I forgot to mention her story involves like the very first virtual reality goggles that we ever see in 1985. She's saying this is a warning. And there's interesting ideology in her speech for sure, but she just comes across as very irritating. So when she gets knocked off in that VR fashion, and the evil creature comes to kill her through the technology, it's dumb and it's silly, but the gore and the blood won me over a bit for that ending. But still, the beginning of the segment annoyed the shit out of me. So I'm gonna give Techno God maybe a light 6 out of 10. That sounds about fair for me. The next one, No Wake, with the sniper rifle family, or the crazy cult creepy overall family. I liked it. I thought it was okay. Again, the gore and the blood was nice as a gore hound. So I do appreciate practical effects always at the end of the day, especially over CGI. But it was fine. Like, the acting is okay. It's not the best story. I do like the second story a little bit more with the cult family, and I wish that we got to see that a little bit more than the friends on the lake in the first half of that story. But No Wake, I'm going to give another 6 out of 10 as well. Now, my personal favorite segment, God of Death, despite the very creepy title that I was very icky about, I know that sounds funny, but the overall story I really enjoyed. I was like, yo, this shit was dope. It pops off. I really enjoyed the Spanish touch to it. I'm a sucker for subtitles and stuff like that, but it just immersed me in it a little bit more. I do like some of the characters, and it's a very panicked story because it's about it starts off with a newscaster lady, and they're joking around, but then the roof in the news station starts to cave in and starts collapsing, and they get murked off in the news station. A team of firefighters come through to save the one remaining cameraman guy. They get out of there. They start going deeper and deeper down into the station unknowingly. They're trying to find an escape. And they eventually find this really creepy underground Spanish temple that's very evil. And they're trying to summon this creepy god, if you will. Yeah, and it's very claustrophobic, the way that it's filmed, how they're going deeper and deeper into the caves. And props to the director. She's a smaller part in her segment, but she's also acting in her segment as well. But I thought she handled this segment very well. So God of Death for me gets, I'm going to say maybe a 8.5 out of 10. I did really enjoy this one personally that much. And that's it, y'all. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I covered the plot hole that I was very bothered by, how people were getting killed and magically coming back to life. And again, if I missed that or if it went over my head, if I missed a little detail, please tell me in my comments. I'm never afraid to be wrong on certain shit, you know. I have no problem with it, but from my recollection, they don't address it at all. So that definitely pissed me off a bit because I was interested in that. I was like, yo, what's going on with these people? Sorry if I sound very long-winded at times, but it's the nerdy passion, if you will. So tune in for the next review, subscribe for more, and I appreciate you. Peace.